Imagine digging through your old change jar and suddenly pulling out a Jefferson nickel so rare, so shockingly valuable, that it could turn your entire life upside down. These old, dirty, forgotten nickels coins most people look at and think are worthless can actually be worth even millions of dollars if you find the right one. From mysterious mint errors to ultra-rare dates that almost never appear, these nickels are hiding unbelievable secrets. Imagine digging into an old jar of coins, expecting nothing special, but suddenly a dirty, worn-out 1954 Jefferson nickel reveals something shocking. An error so rare, so mysterious, and so unbelievably valuable that collectors are willing to pay or even millions of dollars for the perfect one. This is not just another coin. This is the 1954 error nickel that changed everything. A tiny piece of metal with a gigantic price tag. But here's the twist. These coins are so rare that even longtime collectors spend entire lifetimes searching for them. And the craziest part? You might already have one hiding in your pocket change, inside an old drawer, or buried in a forgotten box from your grandparents. The 1954 Jefferson nickel was minted at 3 locations. This was the post-war era. Coin production was booming, dies were wearing out, and quality control wasn't always perfect. The perfect environment for rare, valuable mint errors to occur. Among these millions, only a microscopic fraction contain the errors that today are worth small fortunes. Collectors especially love the 1954 S and 1954 D issues because these two mints struggled with die polishing, die wear, overused equipment, and misalignment issues. This resulted in some of the most desirable errors in the entire Jefferson nickel series. But the true kings, the rarest of them all, are the dramatic and valuable mint error coins, which we'll explore next. Most rare and valuable 1954 Jefferson nickel errors. 1954 S full steps nickel, ultra rare strike. One of the rarest coins in the entire Jefferson nickel series is the 1954 S full steps, FS. Why? Because the dies at the San Francisco Mint were heavily worn in 1954, making it nearly impossible for a nickel to strike with sharp, clear steps on Monticello. Only a few coins with full, complete, undamaged steps have ever been found. Auction values. A high-grade 1954 SFS sold for over $13,000. Another near-perfect example sold for $20,000 plus a theoretical MS. 68 full steps could bring $100,000 to $1 million due to extreme rarity. 1954 BI. Die break error. Rare die clash/cud. Dramatic thick die breaks. $1,000 plus. 1954 off-center strike nickel. Major error. Off-center strikes are some of the most eye-catching errors. A 5% to 10% off-center isn't super rare, but a 40%, 50%, or even 70% off-center, with the date still visible, is extremely valuable. 50, 70% with full date. $1,000 to $5,000. A near-perfect 70% off-center 1954 nickel could reach $10,000 to $25,000. 1954 double die obverse, DDO. While not as famous as the 1955 penny DDO, the 1954 nickel DDO is extremely scarce. Hypothetical extreme doubling. $10,000 plus. 1954 planchet error nickel. Clipped. Wrong metal. Lamination. These mistakes happen before the coin is even struck. Wrong planchet. $1,500 to $10,000. Bonded pair. $5,000 to $25,000. A 1954 nickel struck on a silver planchet or foreign planchet could bring $50,000 to $200,000 at auction. Fire 1954 25% to 50% brockage error. Major mint blunder. Full. Brockage. $2,000 to $10,000 plus. Because few 1954 nickels with brockage errors exist, prices can skyrocket. 1954 DDR. Double die reverse extremely bold. $1,500 to $4,000. How to identify a valuable 1954 error and it'll look closely at. Liberty lettering Jefferson's eye, the date, the steps of Monticello, the rim and edges missing metal or peeling metal off center strike, reverse doubling die cracks or die cuts. A 10 times Jewelers Loop Good Lighting Magnifying app for details. Top 3 most valuable 1954 error nickels ever found. 1954 S full steps nickel sold over $20,000. 1954 wrong planchet nickel estimated $50 000 plus. A few examples struck on foreign planchets have surfaced, bringing extremely high values. 1954 major off-center with full date, up to $25,000. Imagine this. You're cleaning your room, sorting through dusty coins, and suddenly you pick up a 1962 nickel that looks worthless, worn out, dirty, scratched. But under that dirt hides a rare error, a mint mistake so shocking that collectors go crazy for it. You could be holding a coin that sells in auctions for the price of a brand new luxury car, a house, or even life-changing money. Stay with me to the very end, because one tiny detail might be the difference between a 5-cent coin and a $100,000 or even $1 million treasure. The early 1960s were a chaotic time for the U.S. Mint. America was booming economically, coin demand was skyrocketing, and minting machines were working overtime. With pressure to produce millions of coins quickly, quality control slipped, leading to some of the most interesting and valuable mint errors in the entire Jefferson nickel series. Most rare and valuable 1962 old and dirty Jefferson nickel errors. 1962 double die obverse, extremely bold doubling. $10,000 to $20,000. Theoretical MS67 strong DDO. $100,000 plus. 1962 double die reverse, DDR, dramatic doubling. $2,000 to $5,000. Perfect MS66 plus DDR. $20,000 plus. 1962 major off-center strike. Extremely dramatic error. One of the most eye-catching error types. 70% with full date. $3,000 to $8,000. A perfectly preserved 70% off-center 1962 nickel with full date could reach. Backhand index pointing right, $15,000 to $25,000. If a new extreme example appears in mint state, experts believe it could fetch $50,000 plus. 1962 wrong planchet penny planchet. $1,500 to $10,000 dime planchet. Silver dime $5,000 to $25,000 foreign planchet. $10,000 to $50,000 unknown metal. $25,000 to $75,000 a newly discovered 1962 nickel on a unique planchet could reach. Backhand index pointing right, $100,000 to $500,000. Backhand index pointing right, possibly $1 million if it is a one-of-a-kind mint mistake. 1962 clipped planchet, triple clip. $1,000 to $3,000. 1962 major die crack / die break, CUD. Error. These look like raised bumps or missing metal caused by a cracked die. Dramatic break across the portrait. $5,000 plus. Collectors love old and dirty coins with big cracks. They look dramatic. 1962 full steps, FS. Nickel. Full steps on Monticello mean the strike was unusually sharp. But in 1962, dies were heavily worn. FS coins are nearly impossible to find. MS66 FS. $8,000 to $15,000. MS67 FS. Almost impossible. $30,000 to $50,000. A theoretical MS68 FS could reach. Backhand index pointing right, $100,000 to $250,000. Brain why old and dirty 1962 nickels are so valuable. Errors hide better on worn coins. Circulated nickels conceal doubling, cracks, and weak strikes until carefully inspected. Most collectors clean their coins. Cleaning destroys originality, lowering value. Dirty coins equals original surfaces equals higher demand. Rare errors stayed in circulation longer. Weirdly struck coins often went unnoticed for decades. Untouched coins survive in jars and boxes. Some of the best discoveries happen in old family stashes. How to identify a rare 1962 error nickel. Invisible errors. Look for Liberty doubling, Jefferson's I doubling, date distortion, missing letters, broken rims, cracked metal, strange edges, uneven thickness, design shifted left or right, wrong color, copper, silver. Magnifying glass, tilted right. Tools you need 10 times. Jeweler's loop, smartphone, zoom, good lighting, magnifying app. Most million-dollar discoveries start with simple observation. Not when we're talking about the legendary, mysterious, and almost mythical 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, one of the rarest modern American coins ever discovered. This coin didn't come from pocket change. It wasn't sold in mint sets. It wasn't supposed to exist. In fact, for decades, the US Mint denied it was ever made at all. But then, a tiny handful of strange 1964 nickels surfaced. Coins with razor-sharp details, polished dies, proof-like surfaces, and mysterious origins. Collectors went crazy. Auction houses were shocked, and the world realized that these coins, even when found old, dull, and dirty, were worth life-changing amounts of money. This is the unbelievable story of the 1964 SMS Old and Dirty Jefferson nickel, the accidental treasure that has turned ordinary people into overnight millionaires. Stay until the end of this video, because what you learn today could help you spot $1 million coin hiding in your home. The 1964 SMS nickel is unlike any other modern U.S. coin. To understand why it's so rare, we must go back to the chaotic early 1960s. In 1964, the U.S. economy was booming. Supermarkets, vending machines, parking meters, and gas stations all needed coins constantly. But something unexpected happened. A small number of coins, including the 1964 nickel, were struck with polished die, sharper details, deep frost on Jefferson's portrait, smooth, satin-like surfaces, strong rims, proof-like fields. These coins were not proofs. They were not regular business strikes. They were something in between. Collectors today call them. There is no official record of them. No documentation. No public release. Nothing. They only came to light decades later when coins from the estate of Mint Director Eva Adams were sold. Inside that estate were strange, unknown, special strike 1964 coins. This discovery changed numismatic history forever. How to identify a 1964 SMS nickel, even if old and dirty. A genuine 1964 SMS nickel has several features that set it apart from all other 1964 nickels. Even if it's dirty, aged, or dull. Very sharp strikes. Strong details on Jefferson's hair-sharp steps on Monticello, strong rims, with squared edges, satin, or semi-proof-like finish. Even old, dirty examples still show smooth, satin surfaces, lack of normal coin luster, no mint mark. All 1964 nickels were made in Philadelphia. Die Polish lines, you'll see slight lines in the fields, not from wear, but from polished dies. Thick, strong letters, "In God We Trust," Liberty, and Monticello appear bold and crisp. No bag marks. SMS coins were not handled like normal circulation coins. Even if your coin is brown, dark, dirty, corroded, scratched, or heavily aged, these key traits will still be visible. This is why even ugly SMS coins are extremely valuable. Money bag, white, medium star, real, auction prices. A lightly worn specimen sold $4.13. 200 an average SMS specimen sold $4.32. 200 a high-grade SMS specimen sold $4.50. 000 plus a nearly flawless one sold for over $1.75. 000 the highest known grade reached $1.10. 000 plus, but that's not the end. Potential value of newly discovered specimens. If someone discovered a new SMS nickel, an SMS nickel with a dramatic error, or an SMS still in its original mint envelope, experts believe these could easily reach gemstone $250,000 to $500,000. Even $1,000 plus. Now here's where the story becomes even more exciting. No major SMS errors are officially known yet, which means if you find one, you might own $1 million coin. Possible SMS errors include SMS double die, DDO, or DDR. Value could reach $100,000 to $250. 000 fire off-center SMS strike. Even 5% off-center would be historic. Value could reach $250. 000 plus clip planchet SMS. An SMS clip planchet nickel would be the first of its kind. Value might reach $300. 000 plus wrong planchet SMS strike. This would be a holy grail error. Worth white, medium star, $500,000 to $1 million plus. What if I told you that an old, dirty, worn-out 1965 Jefferson nickel, the kind you might overlook or even throw away, could secretly be worth even millions of dollars? Sounds unbelievable, right? But this is exactly the shocking reality behind some of the rarest 1965-era Jefferson nickels ever discovered. In that moment, without even knowing it, you could be holding a coin worth more than a brand new luxury car, more than a wedding budget, or even more than a house. Stay with me through the entire video. because what you're about to learn may help you identify one of the most valuable and life-changing treasures hiding right inside your old coin collection. 1965 was one of the most chaotic years in U.S. mint history. The nation was facing the famous 1960s coin shortage, and the mint was under enormous pressure to produce as many coins as possible. This created the perfect conditions for mistake after mistake. Heavy checkmark. Why 1965 is special. The mint removed silver from dimes and quarters. Millions of coins were struck rapidly. Quality control dropped dramatically. Mint staff worked overtime. Dies were overused, cracked, and poorly polished. Because of this, 1965 is known for major mint errors across many denominations. Minting numbers. The 1965 Jefferson nickel was struck only at Philadelphia Mint. No mint mark. Over 136 million coins. Even though millions were made, only a tiny portion had rare, dramatic, valuable errors, which today can sell for life-changing money. Collision. 1965 double die obverse. DDO. Extremely bold doubling. $10,000 to $20,000 plus. Hypothetical perfect. MS67 DDO. $100,000 to $250,000 plus. 1965 double die reverse. DDR. Deep dramatic DDR. $10,000 to $20,000. 1965 OFF center error. These are visually dramatic and attract big money. 70% off center with full date. $10,000 to $25,000 plus. A new perfect 80 to 90% off center strike with full date could easily reach backhand index pointing right. $40,000 to $75,000 plus. 1965 wrong planchet error struck on penny planchet. $1,000 to $5,000 struck on dime planchet. $5,000 to $20,000 struck on foreign planchet. $10,000 to $50,000 struck on unknown metal. $25,000 to $75,000. If a unique 1965 nickel struck on a silver planchet appears, expectations could reach backhand index pointing right. $100,000 to $500,000 plus backhand index pointing right with extreme rarity. $1 million or more. 1965 clip planchet. This occurs when the coin blank is miscut. Triple clip. $1,500 to $3,000. 1965 die crack / die break. Cut error. Full CUD. Chunk missing. $1,000 to $5,000 plus. Collectors love dirty CUD coins because the contrast makes errors more visible. 1965 weak strike / grease-filled die or this happens when grease blocks details on the die. Extremely weak strike. $500 to $1,500. 1965 full steps. FS. Jefferson in England. 1965 dies were worn and overused, so a full steps nickel is incredibly rare. MS67 FS. Nearly impossible. $20,000 to $50,000 and MS68 FS, if discovered, could easily exceed backhand index pointing right. $100,000 to $200,000. Magnifying glass tilted left. How to identify a rare 1965 nickel. Heavy checkmark. Examine these areas closely. Liberty and God. We tier USD Jefferson's I-date area letters around the rim. The edge steps of Monticello shape of the coin. Thickness of the metal. Heavy checkmark. Tools you can use. Jeweler's loop. 10 times. Smartphone zoom. Flashlight. Coin magnifying app. Imagine holding a dirty old nickel from 1971. A coin that looks so worn out and ordinary that most people would toss it into a jar without a second thought. But what if that same old and dirty 1971 D. Jefferson nickel could actually be worth even millions of dollars? Because when it comes to rare mint errors, missing metal blanks, off-center strikes, and experimental Denver mint mistakes, even a simple-looking 5-cent coin can become one of the most valuable modern coins in the world. So stay with me until the end of this video, because the story of the 1971 D. old and dirty Jefferson nickel is filled with mystery, shocking errors, and a hidden fortune that might be sitting right inside your home without you even knowing it. The year 1971 was a turning point in U.S. coin history. America was transitioning away from silver coins. Production methods were changing, and the Denver Mint, responsible for the D Mint mark, was under intense pressure to create billions of new coins for circulation. Why the Denver Mint matters most. The 1971 D nickel was minted only at the Denver Mint, and that year, the Denver Mint produced a mind-blowing 315 million nickels. This was a perfect environment for rare and valuable errors. How to identify rare. 1971 D old and dirty and is even if your coin is brown, black, dirty, stain, corroded, heavily circulated. You can still have a rare treasure because errors remain visible even on ugly coins. 1971 D off-center nickel, huge money. Off-center coins are dramatic and visually shocking, making them extremely desirable. Perfect 70 to 80% off-center SMS level strike. $15,000 to $40,000 plus. A 1971 D nickel with an 80% off-center strike could reach $50,000 plus at auction. 1971 D double die obverse. DDO, extreme doubling. $10,000 to $25,000 plus. A new strong 1971 D double die could easily set a record. 1971 D double die reverse. DDR, strong DDR, $2,000 to $7,500. Extremely strong DDR, $20,000 to $40,000 plus. A newly discovered powerful DDR could hit $100,000. Wrong planchet strikes, holy grail category. This is the error that can produce million-dollar coins. Penny planchet strike, $5,000 to $15,000 dime planchet strike, $7,500 to $25,000 foreign blank, $25,000 to $50,000 unknown experimental blank, $50,000 to $250,000, and if a unique wrong planchet SMS level strike is found, white medium star value could exceed $500,000 to $1 million plus. Full steps. 1971 D nickel, FS grade. This is rare because the Denver Mint used worn dies. Finest known FS. $20,000 to $35,000 plus. A brand new Top Pop MS67 Plus FS coin could break $50,000. Imagine this. You're digging through an old jar of coins, dusty, forgotten, filled with change that hasn't seen light in decades. Suddenly, you pull out a dirty, worn-out 1977 Jefferson nickel. Nothing special, right? What if I told you that same old nickel could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even, in extremely rare cases, well into six figures and potentially $1 million if the right error meets the right collector? A coin that originally cost 5 cents could completely change your life. Because hidden among the ordinary 1977 nickels are ultra-rare mint mistakes, striking anomalies, and error combinations so extreme that collectors go absolutely crazy for them. Stay until the end, because the last error type alone can reach values so shocking, it doesn't even seem real. The Jefferson nickel has been around since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. But the 1977 issue is special for several reasons. Even though most people don't realize in 1977, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of nickels. Philadelphia and Denver struck the circulation coins. No silver was used. The composition was 75% copper, 25% nickel. Most of these nickels were everyday pocket change. But not all. Why dirty old nickels can be more valuable? Collectors love originality. A dirty, untouched coin hides untouched detail, suggests it was never cleaned, can conceal major mint errors, and when revealed, some of these errors increase the value from 5 cents to thousands of dollars instantly. Wrong planchet errors. Some foreign planchet errors have broken $100,000. Off-metal/transitional errors. In rare cases, the alloy mixture used in the coin is incorrect. These are so scarce that the right collector could pay 6 figures, especially if the coin is certified. Multi-strike errors. These routinely sell from $500 up to $20,000. Full steps. Varieties, FS. If the steps of Monticello are sharply struck, the value jumps. $20,000 plus for a perfect FS example. Now let's break down the top rare errors that can make your old and dirty 1977 nickel incredibly valuable. 1977 double-struck nickel. $1,000 to $25,000. 1977 nickel struck on a penny planchet. $5,000 to $50,000. 1977 nickel struck on a dime planchet. $10,000 plus. 1977 off-center nickel. $250 to $7,500. 1977 full steps Jefferson nickel. Up to $20,000 plus. 1977 double die obverse or reverse, $500 to $15,000. A 1977 multi-strike / triple strike, $10,000 to $75,000. 1977 nickel struck on foreign planchet, $20,000 to $100,000 plus. How to identify an extremely rare 1977 nickel? Check the weight. Use a cheap digital scale. Normal weight, 5.00 grams. Too light / heavy? Possible wrong planchet. Look for color differences: copper color penny planchet, silver color dime planchet, goldish tone foreign brass planchet. Inspect Monticello steps. If steps are sharp and fully defined, your coin may be FS. Very valuable. Look for distortions, any shape anomalies, stretching, expansion, crooked strikes, missing rims. These equals major value. Look closely at the date. Imagine holding a dirty old nickel from 1983, a coin that looks so ordinary, so worn out, so lifeless, that most people would toss it back into a jar without thinking twice. But what if I told you that same old and dirty 1983 P. Jefferson nickel could actually be a rare mint treasure, secretly worth hundreds, sometimes thousands, and in extremely rare cases with the right error, even hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. And many of these ultra-rare 1983 P nickels are hiding today in dirty, old, circulated conditions that no one ever bothered to check. So don't blink, because you might be holding a life-changing treasure without even knowing it. Let's dive into the thrilling world of the 1983 P. Jefferson nickel. The year 1983 was a turning point for U.S. coin production. The mint was under enormous pressure due to 1983 P nickel struck on a copper planchet, penny metal, $10,000 to $50,000 plus. High-grade examples have reached $25,000 to $50,000, and a perfect example could crack $75,000 plus. 1983 P nickel struck on a dime planchet, $15,000 to $60,000. Very rare and very desirable. 1983 P off-center nickel, $250 to $7,500. Off-center strikes are valuable based on 1983 P double-struck nickel, $1,000 to $25,000. 1983 P multi-strike, triple strike, $25,000 to $75,000. Some rare multi-strike nickels have sold for $40,000 to $75,000. 1983 P full steps, $1,000 to $20,000 plus. Full steps nickels are prized because they require 1983 P double die, $500 to $15,000. 1983 P nickel struck on foreign planchet, $20,000 to $100,000 plus. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of coins for foreign countries in the 1980s. One newly discovered example could break $250,000 to $1 million if it's unique. How to identify a valuable 1983 P nickel before you clean your coins. Stop. Never clean a coin. Instead, examine them carefully. Here's how to find the valuable ones. Use a digital scale. Normal nickel weight, 5.00 grams. Anything lighter or heavier equals rare. Planchet error: if you see 5 complete steps or 6 full steps, your coin may be FS and extremely valuable. Copper color penny planchet, yellow gold brass planchet, pale silver dime planchet, very lightweight aluminum planchet, doubling crack spread. Numbers strong doubling can mean thousands. That if the coin has missing rims, looks stretched, seems oval, appears incomplete, it may be an off-center or multi-strike error.